Elena grew up with one rule: never interfere, never get involved. But the night she found a man bleeding behind her family's warehouse, she broke it. She didn't know he was the Mafia prince. She only knew that if she walked away, he would die. And if she saved him, he would never let her go. This is a story of blood, loyalty, and a choice that can never be undone. Hey besties, before we dive into this beautiful story, tell me where you are watching from, and don't forget to subscribe and like so I can share more heartwarming stories with you tomorrow. It is your beautiful way of supporting us. Thank you all. Love you guys. Now let's begin. The alley behind Marco Rossi's warehouse smelled like rust and rain. Elena had walked this path 1,000 times, carrying her father's dinner in a worn canvas bag, always at midnight when the city's criminals were busy elsewhere. She knew the rhythm of this life. The silence, the shadows, the unspoken rule that seeing nothing meant staying alive. Tonight, the silence was broken by breathing. Not normal breathing. Labored. Wet. Desperate. Elena stopped, her hand tightening around the bag. Her father's voice echoed in her mind like a prayer she'd memorized since childhood. If you see blood, you walk away. If you hear screaming, you walk away. If someone is dying, you walk away. This world isn't ours to fix. But her feet wouldn't move forward, and they wouldn't turn back. The breathing came again, weaker this time, from behind the dumpster where her father usually burned documents that couldn't exist. Elena's heart hammered against her ribs as she stepped closer, her phone already in her hand, flashlight cutting through the darkness. The man was crumpled against the brick wall like a broken puppet. Blood soaked through his white dress shirt, turning it crimson. His face was pale, lips colorless, but even barely conscious. There was something about him that screamed danger. Expensive watch, custom suit, and on his right hand, a gold ring with a crest she'd seen before in her father's locked office. "Help me." His voice was barely a whisper, but his eyes snapped open, locking onto hers with an intensity that made her step back. His hand shot out, surprisingly strong, grabbing her wrist. "Don't let them finish it." Elena's breath caught. She should run. She should call her father. She should do anything except what she was about to do. She knelt beside him. "I'm going to move you inside," she said, her voice steadier than her hands. "Can you walk?" He tried to laugh, but it came out as a wet cough. "Do I look like I can walk? Then you're going to have to help me drag you." It took 10 agonizing minutes to get him inside the warehouse. Elena had never been so grateful for her father's paranoid habit of keeping medical supplies everywhere. She'd watched him patch up men before, always from a distance, always pretending she didn't see. Now she was the one with blood on her hands. She cut away his shirt, revealing 3 stab wounds, one dangerously close to his lung. Her hands moved on instinct, remembering everything she'd secretly observed. Pressure, disinfectant, stitches her father had taught her just in case, without ever explaining why a cleaner's daughter needed to know how to close wounds. "You're not a doctor," the man said, his voice stronger now, watching her with unsettling focus. "No, I'm something worse." Elena didn't look at him as she worked. "I'm the daughter of a man who cleans up after people like you." "People like me?" "People who wear rings worth more than my father's warehouse and get stabbed in alleys at midnight." He almost smiled. "Smart girl." Smart would have been walking away. "But you didn't." Elena finally met his eyes. They were dark, almost black, and completely unreadable. "If I let you die here, my father would have to clean it up. I'm saving him the trouble." "Is that what you're telling yourself?" She didn't answer. She couldn't. Because the truth was, she didn't know why she'd saved him. Maybe it was the desperation in his voice. Maybe it was the way he'd said, "Don't let them finish it," like he was asking her to defy fate itself. Or maybe she was just tired of walking away. The warehouse door slammed open. Elena's father stood in the doorway, his weathered face going from confusion to recognition to something she'd never seen before. Fear. "Elena, step away from him." Now, she'd never heard that tone from her father. Marco Rossi didn't fear anything, but he was afraid now. "Dad, he was dying. I know who he is." Marco moved forward slowly, like approaching a wounded animal. His eyes were fixed on the man's face. "Cristo. Elena, do you have any idea what you've done?" The wounded man's lips curved into a smile that had nothing to do with kindness. "Hello, Marco. It's been a long time." "Not long enough." Marco's hand was shaking as he grabbed Elena's arm, pulling her back. "Luca Valenti. The prince himself. bleeding out in my warehouse. Who did this to you? Does it matter? Luca's voice was getting stronger, his color returning. They wanted me dead. Your daughter had other plans. Elena felt the world tilt. Valenti. She'd heard that name whispered like a curse her entire life. The Valenti family controlled everything in this city. Politicians, police, the underground economy that kept the legitimate one running. They were untouchable, immortal, gods in expensive suits. And she'd just saved their heir. If he dies here, we're all dead, Marco said, already moving, gathering supplies. If anyone finds out he was here, we're dead. If the people who tried to kill him trace him to us, we're dead. So what do we do? Elena asked. Her father looked at her, and for the first time in her life, she saw him as old. Tired. We save him, and then we pray he has enough honor to keep us alive. They worked together in silence. Marco's hands were steady now, years of practice taking over. He was better at this than Elena, his stitches cleaner, his movements efficient. Luca watched them both, never losing consciousness again, studying them like he was memorizing every detail. Why didn't you call them? Luca asked after an hour. The Valentis. You know who I am. One phone call, and you'd be heroes. Marco didn't look up from his work. Because whoever tried to kill you might answer that call. And because I know enough about your family to know that saving you might be more dangerous than letting you die. Wise man. No, just a man who's seen what happens to people who get involved with your world. Yet here you are. Involved. Marco tied off the last stitch. My daughter involved us. Not me. Luca's eyes shifted to Elena. She felt pinned by that gaze, like he was seeing through her skin to something underneath. Your daughter has a name. Elena, she said before her father could stop her. And I didn't do it for you. I did it because leaving someone to die makes me as bad as the people who hurt them. Interesting philosophy. Luca tried to sit up, winced, but managed it. In my world, mercy is weakness. Compassion gets you killed. Then your world is sick. Yes. He didn't argue. It is. And now you're part of it. I'm not part of anything, Elena said. As soon as you can walk, you leave, and we forget this happened. Luca laughed, a real laugh this time, though it clearly hurt. You think it's that simple? You think you can touch my blood, save my life, and just walk away? Girl, you have no idea how this works. Then explain it to me. He leaned forward, and despite the pain he must have been in, his presence filled the room. In my world, debts are currency. You saved my life. That creates a bond. Whether you want it or not, whether you believe it or not, you're mine now. I'm no one's. We'll see. Marco stepped between them. You need to rest. Tomorrow, when it's safe, we'll move you. Until then, no one can know you're here. Luca nodded slowly, his energy clearly fading. Marco Rossi, the cleaner who disappeared 15 years ago. I always wondered where you went. Elena's father went still. You know me? I know of you. My father spoke about you sometimes. Said you were the best. Said you could make a body disappear so thoroughly even God couldn't find it. Luca's eyes drifted closed. He also said you betrayed us. Walked away from a job you'd been paid to do. The temperature in the warehouse dropped 10 degrees. What job? Elena asked. Neither man answered. But she saw something pass between them, a recognition of shared history that excluded her completely. Sleep, Marco said to Luca. We'll talk when you're stronger. But as they left Luca in the warehouse's back room, Elena grabbed her father's arm. What did he mean? What job did you walk away from? Marco's face was carved from stone. A long time ago, before you were born, I worked directly for the Valenti family. They asked me to do something I couldn't do. So I disappeared. Built a new life. Had you? I thought enough time had passed that they'd forgotten. Forgotten what? Her father looked at her, and in his eyes, she saw a truth that made her blood run cold. They asked me to kill a child. A teenage boy who some members of the family thought was too dangerous to live. Too ambitious. Too ruthless. He paused. They asked me to kill Luca Valenti. Elena couldn't breathe. And you said no. I said no. I'm a cleaner, Elena. I've done terrible things. But I don't kill children. So I disappeared, and I prayed they'd never come looking. And now he's in our warehouse. Now he's in our warehouse, Marco repeated. And I don't know if that's mercy or revenge. That night, Elena couldn't sleep. She sat on the roof of their small house 3 blocks from the warehouse, watching the city lights flicker like dying stars. Her phone buzzed. A text from her best friend asking if she wanted to get coffee tomorrow. A message from her manager at the bookstore asking her to cover a shift. Normal things. From a normal life that felt like it belonged to someone else now. She heard footsteps on the fire escape and didn't need to turn around to know who it was. "You should be resting," she said. Luca pulled himself onto the roof with obvious effort, his shirt still stained with blood. Couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about the girl who saved me. "I have a name. Elena." The way he said it felt like a claim. "Do you know why I was in that alley?" "Someone tried to kill you. Someone close to me. Someone in my own family." He sat beside her, close enough that she could feel the heat from his body. "There are people who don't want me to inherit my father's empire. People who think I'm too young, too ruthless, too willing to change the old ways." "Are they right?" "About which part?" "All of it." Lucas smiled, and it transformed his face from handsome to devastating. "I'm 28. Ruthless? Absolutely. The old ways got us rich, but made us sloppy. Visible. I want to modernize. Make us untouchable not through fear, but through legitimacy. That terrifies the old guard. So they tried to kill you. They thought I was meeting with a politician. Instead, I met with 3 men with knives." He touched his side where Elena had stitched him. "Your work is impressive. My father's work. I just helped." "No. Most of these stitches are yours. I was watching. Your hands were steadier than his." Elena didn't know what to say to that. She changed the subject. "What happens when you're healed?" "I go back. Find out who betrayed me. Deal with them. Deal with them. You know what I mean." She did. "And what about us? My father and me?" Luca was quiet for a long moment. "That's complicated. You saved my life. That creates a debt I can't repay with money or favors. In my world, life debts are sacred. They bind people together. I don't want to be bound to you." Too late. He turned to face her fully, and Elena felt herself drawn into those dark eyes. "From the moment you decided to save me instead of walk away, your fate became entangled with mine. I don't make the rules, but I do follow them. That's insane. That's my world. And you're in it now, whether you like it or not." If you're loving this story and want to see how deep this obsession goes, smash that like button and drop a comment telling me whose side you're on, Elena's or Luca's. And don't forget to subscribe because this story is about to get darker. Much darker. 3 days passed. Luca healed faster than Elena thought possible, his body recovering with the kind of resilience that spoke of violence survived before. Her father kept him hidden, bringing food and medical supplies, barely speaking except to check vitals and change bandages. But Elena found herself drawn back to the warehouse every night. She told herself it was to make sure he was recovering properly. She told herself it was to protect her father. She told herself it had nothing to do with the way Luca looked at her like she was a puzzle he needed to solve. On the 4th night, she found him standing, walking slowly around the small room, testing his strength. "You should be resting." "I've rested enough." He turned to her. "Tomorrow I leave. My people will come for me." Something in Elena's chest tightened. "Good. Then we're done." "Are we?" "Yes. You go back to your world. I stay in mine, and we pretend this never happened." Luca crossed the room faster than someone recovering from stab wounds should be able to. He stopped inches from her, close enough that she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. "You really think it works like that? You think I can just forget the girl who saved me? The girl who has my blood on her hands? I'm not your property. No, you're worse. You're my conscience. My proof that mercy still exists in this rotten city." His hand came up, fingers brushing her cheek so gently it made her shiver. "Do you know how long it's been since someone did something kind for me without wanting something in return? I don't want your gratitude. I know. That's why you terrify me." Elena's breath caught. "I terrify you?" "Yes. Because you make me want to be someone different. Someone who deserves that kindness. And in my world, that kind of weakness gets you killed." His thumb traced her jawline. "But I can't stop thinking about you. Can't stop wondering what would happen if I just took you away from all this. Kept you somewhere safe where no one could hurt you. That sounds like a prison. Maybe. But you'd be alive. You don't get to make that choice for me." "No." His lips curved into something between a smile and a threat. "Watch me." The door burst open. 4 men in black suits filled the doorway, guns drawn, eyes scanning the room with professional precision. They saw Luca and immediately holstered their weapons, relief flooding their faces. "Mr. Valenti, we've been searching everywhere." Luca stepped back from Elena, his expression shifting from intimate to cold in an instant. "Where's my father?" waiting at the estate. There's been developments. What kind of developments? The lead guard glanced at Elena. Perhaps we should discuss this privately. She saved my life. She hears everything. The guard's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Your uncle Antonio is dead. Killed last night. Same method as the attempt on you. Your father suspects a coup. Luca's face revealed nothing, but Elena saw his hands curl into fists. How many are loyal? Unclear. Maybe half. Maybe less. Then we move carefully. Luca turned to Elena. I need to go. I know. But this isn't finished. It has to be. No. He moved close again, ignoring the guard's discomfort. I'm going to handle my family's business. I'm going to find out who's trying to destroy us. And when it's done, when I'm secure, I'm coming back for you. I don't want you to come back. Liar. He leaned in, his lips brushing her ear. You feel it too. This connection. This pull. You can deny it all you want, but I see the way you look at me. Like you're trying to decide if I'm worth saving. You're not. Probably not. But you'll try anyway. He pressed something into her hand. That's my private number. When they come for you, call me. Why would anyone come for me? Luca's expression turned dark. Because by tomorrow morning, everyone in my world will know that the cleaner's daughter saved my life. And some people will see that as loyalty to be rewarded. Others will see it as treason to be punished. Elena's blood turned to ice. What are you saying? I'm saying you're no longer invisible. You're connected to me now. And in my world, connections are targets. He cupped her face with both hands, his touch surprisingly gentle. So when they come, don't be brave. Don't be proud. Call me. I'll keep you safe. I don't need your protection. Yes, you do. You just don't know it yet. And then he was gone, swept away by his guards, leaving Elena standing alone in the warehouse with his phone number burning in her palm and his words echoing in her head. She didn't call. Not the next day when a black car followed her to work. Not the day after when someone broke into her apartment but didn't steal anything. Not even when her manager pulled her aside and nervously told her that two men in expensive suits had been asking questions about her. Her father was furious. You should have called him, Marco said, pacing their kitchen like a caged animal. He offered protection. Do you understand what that means? The Valenti prince doesn't offer protection lightly. I'm not calling him. I'm not dragging us deeper into this. We're already in this. The moment you saved him, we became part of his world. Accept it or don't, but stop pretending you have a choice. I always have a choice. No, Elena, you don't. Not anymore. He was wrong. She had to be wrong. But that night, when she came home from her shift at the bookstore, she found her apartment door ajar. Not broken, just open, like someone had a key. Elena's hand trembled as she pushed it wider. The apartment looked untouched at first glance. But then she saw it. A single photograph on her kitchen counter. Her, walking to work. Yesterday. And written on the back in elegant script. The Rossis should have stayed hidden. She called Luca. He answered on the first ring. Elena, someone was in my apartment. I know. My men have been watching. They scared them off. Your men have been watching me. Did you think I'd leave you unprotected? Stay where you are. I'm coming. No. I don't want you here. I don't want any of this. Too late. His voice was gentle but implacable. Pack a bag. Essentials only. You have 10 minutes. I'm not going anywhere with you. Yes, you are. Because those weren't my men in your apartment. Those were my enemies. And they left you a message, which means they'll be back with something worse than photographs. Elena's throat tightened. What do they want? You. Me. Your father. Anyone connected to the Valenti family right now is leverage. And I won't let you become leverage, Elena. I can't. Why? Why do you care this much? Silence on the other end. Then, quieter. Because you saved me when everyone else wanted me dead. Because you looked at me like I was just a man, not a monster. Because when I close my eyes, I see you, and for the first time in 10 years, I feel something other than rage. Another pause. So pack your bag. Because whether you want it or not, you're under my protection now. And I protect what's mine. I'm not yours. We'll discuss that later. 9 minutes, Elena. He hung up. Elena stared at her phone, her mind racing. She could run. Disappear like her father had. Change her name, move across the country, pretend none of this happened. But deep down, she knew Luca was right. She'd crossed a line she couldn't uncross. Saved a man she couldn't unsave. And now his world had swallowed hers whole. She packed. The car that came for her wasn't what she expected. Not a black SUV with tinted windows, but a sleek silver sedan with a driver who smiled kindly and held the door open like she was a guest, not a prisoner. Luca was waiting in the back seat. He looked different, not wounded anymore, but powerful, commanding, dressed in a black suit that probably cost more than her yearly salary. But his eyes softened when he saw her. You came. Did I have a choice? Always. You could have run. Some people do. And how does that usually work out? Badly. He gestured to the seat beside him. But I'm glad you didn't try. Saves me the trouble of hunting you down. Elena slid into the car, her bag clutched on her lap like a shield. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. Somewhere my enemies can't reach. Your enemies? Who are they exactly? Luca's jaw tightened. Members of my own family who think I'm too young to lead. Rival families who see my father's illness as weakness. Politicians we've paid for years who think they can switch sides now that we seem vulnerable. He turned to her. Take your pick. And where do I fit into all this? You're the girl who saved my life. That makes you valuable. It also makes you a target. Some people will try to use you against me. Others will try to kill you to hurt me. Great. So I'm bait. No. His hand found hers, warm and solid. You're under my protection, which means anyone who touches you answers to me. And trust me when I say no one wants to answer to me. The drive took 40 minutes, winding through the city until buildings gave way to estates, gated communities that whispered of old money and older secrets. The car finally stopped in front of a massive property, all stone walls and security cameras. This is your house. One of them. This one's the most secure. Luca helped her out of the car, his hand on the small of her back possessive and protective. You'll have your own room, your own space, but you don't leave without me. Understood? You're really going to keep me prisoner. I'm really going to keep you alive. The house was stunning. High ceilings, marble floors, art that probably belonged in museums. But Elena barely noticed. She was too focused on the armed guards at every entrance, the cameras in every corner, the sense that this beautiful house was really a gilded cage. Luca showed her to a bedroom that was bigger than her entire apartment. Everything you need is here. Clothes in the closet, toiletries in the bathroom. If you want something else, ask. When can I leave? When it's safe. And when will that be? When I've eliminated everyone who wants to hurt you. He moved closer, his presence overwhelming in the intimate space. I know you hate this. I know you think I'm a monster keeping you captive. But Elena, I've seen what these people do to leverage. I've cleaned up the bodies. I won't let that happen to you. Because you owe me? Because I can't stomach the thought of you in pain. His honesty was brutal, raw. I should let you go. I should send you far away where my world can't touch you. But I'm too selfish. Too obsessed. I need you close where I can protect you. Where I can see you. Where I can convince myself that someone as good as you actually exists. Elena's heart hammered. I'm not good. I'm just a girl who made a stupid choice. No. You made the right choice. You saved a life. My life. And now I'm going to spend the rest of mine making sure you never regret it. He left her alone then, closing the door softly behind him. Elena heard the lock click and felt her prison settle around her like a shroud. She should be terrified. She should be planning escape. Instead, she was remembering the way Luca had looked at her in the warehouse. Like she was something precious. Something worth protecting. Like she mattered. Days blurred together. Elena spent her time reading books from Luca's extensive library, walking the gardens under the watchful eyes of guards, and avoiding Luca himself as much as possible. But he found her anyway. Always. Breakfast in the sunroom. You need to eat more. Evening in the library. What are you reading? Late night, when she couldn't sleep. Talk to me. Tell me what you're thinking. She tried to resist. Tried to keep walls between them. But Luca was patient. Persistent. He asked about her life, her dreams, her fears. He told her about his childhood, growing up in a world where trust was currency and betrayal was inherited. My mother left when I was 8, he said one night. Both of them sitting in the garden under stars that couldn't quite penetrate the city's glow. Said she couldn't watch her son become what his father was. So she abandoned me to become exactly that. That's not an excuse, Elena said. No, it's not. I made choices. Terrible ones. I've hurt people. Killed people. I'm exactly the monster she was afraid I'd become. He turned to her. But with you, I want to be different. I want to be the man who deserves your mercy. You can't change what you are. No, but I can choose how I use it. Who I protect. What I fight for. His hand found hers in the darkness. Let me protect you, Elena. Let me prove I'm worth the life you saved. She should have pulled away, should have reminded him she wasn't his. But his hand was warm, and his voice was honest. And for the first time since this nightmare started, she felt almost safe. My father, she said suddenly. Have you been protecting him too? Luca's expression shifted. Yes, he's in a secure location. I've had men watching him since the night I left your warehouse. Can I see him? Not yet. It's too risky. Anyone watching you would follow you straight to him. So I'm trapped here indefinitely, just until I handle the threat. And how long will that take? Luca's smile was cold. As long as it takes to identify every person who wants me dead and eliminate them. Eliminate? Yes. Elena's stomach turned. You're going to kill them. What did you think I was going to do? Ask them nicely to stop? He stood, pacing the garden path. This is my world, Elena. We don't have courts or lawyers or civilized resolution. We have power, loyalty, fear. And when someone betrays you, you erase them. Completely. That's barbaric. That's survival. It's murder. Yes. He didn't flinch from the word. I'm a murderer. I've killed more people than you've saved. I'm violent, possessive, and ruthless. But I'm also the only thing standing between you and people who would do far worse than kill you. He knelt in front of her, forcing her to meet his eyes. So hate me if you want. Call me a monster. But don't pretend you don't need me. Because right now, I'm the only reason you're still breathing. The truth of his words hit her like a physical blow. She did need him, as much as she hated admitting it. Without Luca's protection, she'd already be dead. Or worse. I don't hate you, she whispered. You should. But I don't. I hate this situation. I hate feeling trapped. But you. She touched his face, surprised by her own boldness. You scare me. But you also make me feel safe. And I don't know how both things can be true. Luca's hand covered hers, pressing her palm against his cheek. Because I'm yours to command. With you, the monster becomes a guardian. The killer becomes protector. You don't have to understand it. Just believe it. I want to. Then do. He leaned in slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. Let me show you what it means to be mine. Elena knew she should stop this. Should maintain boundaries. Should remember that this man was dangerous, violent, everything she should fear. But when his lips touched hers, gentle despite all that power coiled beneath, she didn't pull away. She leaned in. The kiss was everything a first kiss should be. Soft, searching, full of promise and threat in equal measure. Luca's hand curved around the back of her neck, holding her like something precious, while his other hand rested on her hip, a claim and a question all at once. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Luca rested his forehead against hers. I'm going to keep you, he said. Not as a prisoner, not as leverage, but as mine. My reason to be better. My proof that monsters can be redeemed. That's not how redemption works. Then teach me. Show me how to be someone worthy of saving. Before Elena could answer, one of Luca's guards appeared in the garden entrance. Sir, you need to see this. The moment shattered. Luca stood, his expression shifting from vulnerable to lethal in an instant. What is it? Security footage. Someone tried to breach the perimeter. Luca's jaw tightened. He looked at Elena. Stay here. Don't move. What's happening? What I expected. They found you, but they won't get past my walls. He left, and Elena was alone with her racing heart and the lingering sensation of his kiss. She touched her lips, still feeling him there, and wondered when exactly she'd started falling for the man she should fear most. An hour passed, then two. Elena paced her room, jumping at every sound, imagining attackers around every corner. When her door finally opened, she almost screamed. But it was Luca, blood on his knuckles, darkness in his eyes. It's handled. What happened? Someone thought they could take you from me. They were wrong. He moved to the bathroom, washing the blood away like it was nothing. We need to talk. About what? He came back to her, and this time there was something different in his expression. Determination. Decision. I know who's behind all this. The attempts on my life. The threats against you. Everything. Elena's breath caught. Who? My cousin. Marco. He's been working with the Castellano family to stage a coup. Take control of our territories. He thinks with me dead and my father dying, he'll inherit everything. What are you going to do? End it. Tomorrow night. There's a meeting of the families. I'm going to expose him. Eliminate him. And anyone who stands with him. That sounds like a war. It is. But it's necessary. He took her hands. And I need you to trust me. Can you do that? Elena looked at this man. This beautiful, terrifying, complicated man who'd somehow become her entire world in the span of 2 weeks. I don't know. Fair enough. His smile was sad. But I need you to try. Because what I'm about to do is going to be ugly. Violent. Everything you hate about my world. And I need to know that when it's over, when my hands are bloody and my soul is darker, you'll still look at me like I'm worth saving. Luca, promise me. His grip tightened. Promise me you won't give up on me. Not yet. She shouldn't. God, she shouldn't. But looking into his eyes, seeing the vulnerability beneath all that violence, she couldn't help herself. I promise. The next night, Luca dressed for war. Black suit. No tie. Gun holstered under his jacket. He looked every inch the Mafia prince. Cold and lethal and absolutely in control. Elena watched from her room as cars arrived, filling the driveway. She recognized some faces from news reports. Politicians. Police commissioners. Men who were supposed to uphold law but clearly served money instead. Luca came to her before he left. Whatever you hear tonight, don't come downstairs. Promise me. What are you going to do? What's necessary? He kissed her forehead, a gesture so tender it made her chest ache. Remember your promise. Don't give up on me. And then he was gone. Elena tried to stay away. Tried to read, to sleep, to distract herself. But when she heard the first gunshot, all her resolve crumbled. She ran downstairs, her heart in her throat, terror making her reckless. The grand dining room had been transformed into a battlefield. Men lay bleeding. Lucas stood at the head of the table, his gun pointed at a man who looked so much like him they could have been brothers. Marco, Lucas said, his voice cold. Cousin. Traitor. Did you really think you could take everything from me? Marco laughed, blood bubbling from his lips. You're weak, Luca. Soft. Keeping that girl like she means something. In our world, that's suicide. No, that's humanity. Something you've clearly forgotten. Humanity doesn't rule empires. Maybe not. But I'm tired of ruling through fear. Luca's eyes flicked to Elena, standing frozen in the doorway. I'm going to try something different. And you won't be here to see it. The gunshot made Elena flinch. Marco fell. Silence crashed through the room. Luca turned to the remaining men. Anyone else want to challenge me? Anyone else think I'm too soft to lead? No one moved. Good. Then let me make something clear. This family survives because I allow it. You breathe because I permit it. And if anyone, and I mean anyone, touches what's mine again, I won't just kill you. I'll erase you. Your family. Your legacy. Everything you've ever been will cease to exist. He gestured to Elena. She's mine. My protection. My future. Disrespect her, and you disrespect me. And we all know how that ends. Elena felt every eye in the room turn to her. She wanted to run. To hide. To escape this nightmare. But Luca crossed the room, took her hand, and pulled her close. Tell them, he said softly. Tell them you're with me. Willingly. Her voice came out as a whisper. I'm with him. Louder. I'm with Luca Valenti. Willingly. The words felt like a vow. A binding. The moment they left her lips, Elena knew she'd crossed a line she could never uncross. She was his now. In every way that mattered. Luca's hand tightened on hers. Meeting adjourned. Clean this up. He led her away from the carnage, up the stairs to her room. Once inside, he collapsed onto the bed, the adrenaline clearly fading, exhaustion and pain taking its place. Elena knelt beside him. You're hurt. Just bruised. Nothing serious. Let me see. He lifted his shirt. Dark bruises bloomed across his ribs. Elena's hands moved over them gently, checking for breaks. Her medical training, however limited, kicked in. You need ice. And rest. I need to know you're not terrified of me. His hand caught hers, pressing it against his chest where his heart raced. After what you saw downstairs. After what I did. Tell me you don't hate me. Elena met his eyes. I should be running as far from you as possible. But I'm not. And I don't think I can. She cupped his face. This beautiful, terrible man. You're a monster, Luca. You've killed people. You'll kill more. But you're also the man who protects me. Who looks at me like I'm something precious. Who wants to be better. Her thumb traced his cheekbone. I don't know if people like us can be together. If someone from my world can love someone from yours. Love. His voice broke on the word. Yes. Love. Because that's what this is becoming, isn't it? This obsession. This need to be near each other. It's not just about debts or protection anymore. Luca pulled her onto the bed beside him, holding her like she might disappear. I've never loved anything. Never knew how. But with you, Elena, I think I'm learning. And it terrifies me more than any gun or enemy ever has. Good. You should be terrified. Love makes you vulnerable. I know. That's why it's so dangerous. But I can't stop. Can't walk away. You're in my blood now. My reason for everything. They lay there in the darkness, two people from different worlds trying to find a way to exist together. Elena knew this was insane. Knew loving Luca meant accepting violence, danger, moral compromise. But she also knew she'd made her choice the night she saved him. And she was going to see it through. Weeks passed. The city learned that Luca Valenti had consolidated power absolutely. Those who challenged him were gone. Those who remained were loyal, terrified, obedient. And Elena was beside him through all of it. She moved into the estate permanently, not as a prisoner anymore, but as something else. Something the newspapers struggled to define. The Mafia prince's conscience. His weakness. His strength. Her father came to visit one afternoon. Marco Rossi looked older, more tired, but alive. Luca had kept his promise. You should leave him, Marco said when they were alone in the garden. Before it's too late. It's already too late, Dad. Elena, he's a killer. He'll destroy you. Maybe. Or maybe I'll save him. She looked at her father. You walked away from this world once. But it found you anyway. It found us. And now I'm choosing to stay. Not because I have to, but because I want to. You love him. It wasn't a question. Yes, I love him. I love the man he is with me. The man he's trying to become. And I think I can help him be someone better than his past. Marco shook his head. You're gambling with your life. We all are. Every day. At least I'm betting on something I believe in. Her father left, unconvinced but accepting. Elena knew he'd never approve. Never understand. But it wasn't his choice to make. That night, Luca found her on the balcony of their bedroom. Yes, their bedroom. She'd stopped pretending she could sleep anywhere else weeks ago. Your father thinks I'm going to destroy you. He might be right. Would you hate me if I did? Elena turned to face him. I'd hate myself more for letting it happen. She took his hands. Luca, I need to know something. Where does this end? Us. This life. Where are we going? He was quiet for a long moment. I've been thinking about that. About what kind of life we could have. What I need to give up to give you the future you deserve. What do you mean? I could walk away. From all of it. My father's dying. My cousin's dead. I could hand the empire to someone else and disappear with you. Start over somewhere no one knows us. Elena's heart clenched. You'd do that? For you? Yes. His thumb brushed her cheek. But I don't think you'd let me. Why not? Because you know what I know. That walking away wouldn't end it. They'd come after us. After our children. After anyone connected to the Valenti name. The only way to truly be free is to change it from within. He pulled her close. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this sick, violent empire and remake it. Make it legitimate. Legal. Clean. It'll take years. Maybe decades. But I'll do it. For you. For us. Elena's eyes burned with tears. That's impossible. So is you saving me. So is us being together. We specialize in impossible. She kissed him then, pouring everything into it. Hope. Fear. Love. Promise. And when they broke apart, both breathless, she made a decision. Then I'm staying. Not as your protection. Not as your conscience. But as your partner. You're equal. If you're going to change this world, you don't do it alone. Luca's smile was brilliant, transforming his face into something beautiful. That's a dangerous offer. I've made worse decisions. Like saving me? Exactly like that. And I'd do it again. Every time. He lifted her, carrying her inside, and Elena laughed, the sound echoing through the bedroom that had become hers. Theirs. A space carved out of violence that somehow held tenderness. Later, in the darkness, with Luca's heartbeat steady beneath her ear, Elena thought about how far she'd come. From the cleaner's daughter who walked away from blood to the woman who'd chosen to stay beside the monster. Do you regret it? Luca asked softly, reading her mind the way he'd learned to do. Saving me. Every day, she admitted. But I'd still do it again. Why? Because you're mine too, Luca Valenti. My monster. My prince. My impossible choice. She lifted her head to look at him. And I protect what's mine. His laugh was soft, almost disbelieving. I was supposed to be the obsessed one. You corrupted me. Good. They fell asleep like that, wrapped around each other, two people who should never have met finding a way to exist in the space between light and dark. The city outside continued to pulse with violence. The Mafia families continued their eternal dance of power and betrayal. But inside the Valenti estate, something new was being built, something that might have been hope. And if sometimes Elena woke from nightmares of blood and gunfire, Luca was always there to hold her, to promise her safety, to remind her why she'd made this impossible choice. Because love, real love, wasn't about perfection. It was about seeing someone's worst parts and choosing them anyway. It was about saving someone and letting them save you in return. It was dangerous. It was obsessive. It was everything her father warned her against. But it was hers, and she was keeping it. Thank you so much for staying until the very end of this dark, twisted love story. If you're still here, you're definitely my kind of person. Smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another story. And please, drop a comment below telling me what you thought. Did Elena make the right choice? Could you love someone like Luca? Let's discuss. And if you love this story, hit that like button and share it with someone who loves dark romance as much as you do. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most dangerous choice is the only one worth making.